Alright, today we're going to be working with this photo, and the problem that this photo has are these power lines in the background. It really takes away from our subject, which is the statue right here. So we're going to use a couple of different tools. We're gonna try using Content Aware Fill, and we're also going to be using the Clone Stamp tool. So this is going to use a lot of layers. So the first thing that we want to do is go over here and take our background layer, move it down to the new layer icon, and turn off the original background. Because what this is called is non-destructive editing. We don't want to destroy our original picture in case we need to go back to it. So I'm going to take this new one and we're going to call this one Austin. So we have our Austin layer and we have our background layer. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is go over here to the lasso tool, and we're going to use the lasso tool, and I'm going to be using my pen today because I think that the pen has a lot more can be used just a lot more to draw. When you're drawing, you can use it to be more effective. First, I'm going to zoom in though. Let's go ahead and zoom in on the top of this picture, like. Maybe not that close. I'm going to zoom out. So I'm going to hit the Alt key, and you see how it turns it from plus to a minus. I'm going to zoom out one. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my lasso tool and my pen. Alright. So the first thing I'm going to do is just draw with my pen a little area right there. And now what we're going to do is go up here to the Content Aware Fill. And what this is going to do, it's going to create a brand new layer, and it's going to fill in this area with what it thinks is the most likely color that you want in there. Okay, and you can change this because what's going to happen is if right now if you leave it alone, it's going to make it a new layer. So you can put it on the current layer, so that way it will just keep piling up. On the current layer. Keep making changes to the current layer. So, and then we're going to click OK. So all it did was change this one little area right here. So I'm going to take my pen again, and I'm going to draw a new area. Whoops. I want to make sure I include all that. I'm going to draw a new area right there. And then we're going to do it again. Content Aware Fill. Okay, and we click OK. Now this time it didn't really do a very good job of filling it in. So maybe we need to sample smaller sample areas. For example, what I'm going to do is sample like this. Hopefully it's going to see. Right. What I want is the blue to go in there. So you're depending on the computer really to fix the problem for you. All right, let's see what happens. I can increase the sample. Okay, so sometimes it doesn't do a very good job of sampling. So other times it does a much better job. Let's see what happens when we do it one more time. So we're going to go to Fill, Content Aware Fill, and click OK. So actually now it thinks we're wanting to do it the opposite way, add the power lines back in. So let's go ahead and try. Go ahead and try just telling it, no, we want to get rid of all the power lines. Let's see what happens. There we go. So now it did a better job this time of actually getting rid of all the power lines. Right? And we can do the same thing. Right? I want to get rid of that. Now, Yeah, it's not doing so great. I maybe got too close to that right there. Um, so see what happens when I click OK. It's not the best. All right, so the other tool I want to show you is the clone stamp tool. And your brush size might be a lot smaller than mine. So the first thing you want to do after going to the clone stamp tool is make your brush size bigger. Right? I'm going to make my brush size, let's make it 100 pixels. All right. That's a pretty good size. And we'll leave the hardness at 0. Okay. So the first thing that's telling you is you need to, what it says, it wants you to alt click. So that means you're going to push the alt button on the keyboard, and then you're going to find a place where you want to copy this guy from. So I'm going to copy from right here. And then notice that it gives you this little plus right there, and it's showing you where it's copying from, and then you can see where you're copying to. So this gives you the opportunity to paint out by copying the sky. I'm going to paint out this telephone pole, which is causing me so much trouble, but I want to be very careful not to copy. Now you notice it did copy this kind of little mistake area right there. So alright, now I'm going to go back to my content aware fill. So let's go back to our lasso tool. And I'm going to draw this whole area right here. And then let's see what happens when I go to content aware fill. Let's see if it'll actually give me what I'm looking for. So edit fill, content aware fill. Yeah, that looks pretty good over here in the preview. There we go. So it got rid of that kind of rough mess right there. So now we can do the same thing over here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in on his head. Right. And I'm going to get my, this time I'm going to use my polygon lasso tool. Right. And I'm going to get it close. We're going to do like what we do with the cutout, remember? So I'm going to come in real close. I want to get that too. Okay. And then now let's do the content aware fill. That's not so great. So I'm going to cancel that. We still have our selection. So one of the things that we can do now is we can go back to our clone stamp tool, right? And I can click on Alt, go over here, and I can paint in that area and see. Now, gotta be careful. You see how different that color is, right? So maybe I can color from this side, grab some of that, right? Get some from close by. Like that. There we go. Okay. So now you do have this little kind of blocky shape right there around it. Some things you can do is I can go back to my my clone stamp tool now that I've let the selection drop, and I can hit the Alt key and just kind of clean that up like that. Hit the Alt key over here, kind of clean it up, right? Just kind of do like that. Now I can go back and use my my regular lasso tool. Maybe zoom out a little bit. So you can kind of see a little bit here where you can see where I've kind of messed up the sky. So I'm going to use my lasso tool and go back and use that content aware fill. See if that'll fix it up a little bit. Right. You just keep trying it. Okay. So now I want to get rid of these wires. So we're going to try the content aware fill again. That's pretty good. Right. There we go. And you see how it's kind of fixing this little area. So I'm going to see what happens. So we can try that content aware fill. So we can get rid of some of that. There we go. Not too bad. Alright, now the sky looks pretty good. So we got rid of the most of that right there. Now we could zoom in really close right here, and we can use our we could use our clone stamp tool, but we want to make it a lot smaller, right? Maybe even smaller than that. How about maybe 10 pixels? Okay, and then I'm going to come over here, Alt. Now I'm going to use my my pen, so I have more control. Right. And I want to, I gotta pick the Alt spot right here. Right, pick the Alt spot, and now I can really paint really close to his head. Right, and I have a lot more control with the pen than I would with a mouse. There we go. Now I can zoom back out and see how it looks. And when we zoom out, you can barely tell that I did anything there at all. Okay, so now we have this little area right here behind his neck. How are we going to fix that? So again, this is an opportunity. We could either try content aware fill, or we can try the clone stamp tool. So I'm going to try the content aware fill first. Okay. So I'm just going to come in here. Oops. And I'm going to start there. I don't want to get too close to the sky. I want to just go down the collar. Right. Make my selection. And then we're going to come up here to edit content aware fill. Yeah, it's grabbing, the content aware fill is grabbing too much of the statue, so we're going to cancel that. Alright, and so let's go ahead, we have our selection, so let's go ahead and use our clone stamp tool, right, which we need to make bigger, back to about, what was it, 70, 80, yeah, that's pretty good. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to Alt right here in the bush, and so I'm going to get some of these bushes, right, oops, okay, it's way too big, so be careful about pushing down on the pen because it increases the diameter. Alright. And then I could clean up this sky area there. Alright, I want you to go ahead and clean this up yourself. Take out the pole and save it as a PSD, as a Photoshop document. Alright, and put it in the assignment.